In this video series, we're going to be creating a dynamic skill web in Python Tkinter, but in this specific video, we're going to focus on getting the basic shape of our skill web onto the screen. So the starter code right here creates a full screen window with a title, and it imports the math and random module, as we'll be using those later on. So the first thing we're actually going to do here is create a skill web class. So class skill web, and have it inherit from the canvas class. Define init, self, pass in the parent widget, super.init, pass in parent again, and then optionally you can pass in a background color for your canvas here. Okay, now we're going to go back up to our root class here, and we're going to initialize our skill web with self.skill_web is equal to skill web. Pass in self or root for the skill web's parent. Then we're going to display the skill web with self.skill_web.pack. Fill is equal to both, and expand is equal to 1. Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to do here is create a dictionary of all of the skills that we want to appear on our skill web. So back to our skill web class, we're going to do self.skills is equal to an empty dictionary. And the first skill I'm going to add is the strength skill. And then for the skills level, I just want it to be a random integer between 0 and 100. So we're going to do random.ranInt 0 and then 100. So in order for this to work, you must have at least 3 skills in your dictionary. So I'm just going to add a comment here so we don't forget. Must have at least 3 skills. Okay. And so I'm just going to add a couple more skills here. Okay, so I have all of my skills added in now. And so the next thing we're going to do here is start drawing the basic shape of our skill web. And so that shape is going to be determined by the number of skills you have in your skills dictionary. So for example, if you have 3 skills, your skill web is going to be the shape of a triangle. 4 skills will get you a quadrilateral, and 5 skills is going to get you a pentagon, and so on and so forth. And so what we're really doing here is, say for instance, we have only 3 skills in our skills dictionary. So our skill web is going to be a triangle. And so what we're really doing here in this step is we're drawing that initial triangle, and inside of that triangle, we're drawing multiple smaller triangles that are all concentric. And so in order to get this process started, we have to first define an imaginary circle that the skill web is inscribed inside of. My previous video, how to programmatically draw any regular polygon, goes into more detail into the math and theory behind that if you're interested. But if not, you can just follow along. And so for our imaginary circle, all we're going to do is define a center, and then we're going to define a radius. So let's just begin with the center here. And so I'm just going to do imaginary circle here. And so the center of our circle is literally just going to be the center of our canvas. So do self.center underscore x is equal to self.winfo underscore height divided by 2. And then self.center underscore y is equal to self.winfo underscore height divided by 2. For the x, it should actually be width instead of height. Okay. Now, next we're going to define the radius. So we're going to start off with the self.outer underscore radius. And I'm just going to set that equal to 200. Okay. What this variable does is it defines the overall size of the skill web, but it also defines how large that first triangle or that first layer of the skill web is. So I'm just going to add a comment here, and I'll say determines size of first layer. Okay. Then we're going to do an inner radius, so self.inner underscore radius. And I'm going to say mine's equal to 50. And this determines the size of that last triangle that we draw, or the last layer. So it determines size of last layer. Okay. Alright, so now we just need to set the number of layers that we want to draw. So I'm going to do number of layers. The number can be whatever number you want, but it must be at least 2. So it must be at least 2. And so for mine, I'm just going to do self.layers is equal to 5. Okay. Now, next we're going to set a variable called n_gone. So we'll do self.n_gone is equal to the length of self.skills. So ngone is just going to be equal to however many skills you have inside of your skills dictionary. And so if you watch my previous video, you'll kind of understand this variable a little bit more. But basically what n in ngone stands for is the number of vertices / edges / skills the skill web is going to have. Okay. So number of vertices, skills / edges. Okay. So basically it's all connected. So if you have 3 skills, you're going to have 3 vertices, and if you have 3 vertices, you're going to have 3 edges. Okay. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is calculate the vertex angle. So vertex angle here, and in order to do that, we just do self.vertex_angle is equal to 2 times math.pi divided by self.n_gone. Okay. Now that we have all of that set, we can start working on the skill web's draw method. So we're going to do define draw, pass in self. Okay. So the first thing we want to do is update the canvas. So update canvas, and then to do that, we'll do self.update. And so whenever we update the canvas's dimensions can change. So that means the center X and the center Y can change. So you can either just copy and paste this or just cut and paste this down here. And I'm just going to do #imaginary circle center. Okay. Next, we're going to define a decrement, or the space that's going to be between each layer. So space between each layer. And so we'll do decrement is equal to self.outer_radius minus self.inner_radius divided by self.layers minus 1. Okay. Now we're going to begin iterating through each layer. Okay. So in order to do that, we'll do for layer in range self.layers. And then from there, we're going to calculate the current layer's radius. So here we're just going to do current_radius is equal to self.outer_radius minus layer times decrement. And I'm going to change this to calculate current, or I'll do calculate layer radius. Okay. All right. So next we're going to create a list to store our vertices inside of. So list to store vertices. We'll do vertices is equal to an empty list. All right. So next we can start actually calculating our vertices here. So for I in range, self.n_gone. First we have to calculate the angle for the current vertex. So here we're just going to do angle is equal to I times self.vertex_angle. All right. So now with that, we can actually calculate the vertex's coordinates. So calculate vertex coordinates. So start off with x. We do x is equal to self.center_x plus current_radius times math.cosine, and then we're going to pass in the angle inside of our cosine. And then it's basically the same thing for the y, but we're just going to change a couple things. So we're going to do y is equal to self.center underscore y plus current underscore radius times math.sine. Okay? So now we have our vertex coordinates, and we just have to add them to our vertices list. So we're going to do append coordinates to vertices list with vertices dot append, and then pass in the x and the y as a list. Okay. Now, outside of that for I in range loop, what we're going to do is we're going to draw a line between each of the vertices for the current layer. Okay. So we'll do self.create underscore polygon, pass in our vertices list, set fill equal to an empty string, so the inside will be transparent, and then we're going to make its outline black. And then to make the outline more pronounced, we're going to set its width equal to 3. Okay. So now we're going to go back up to our root class, and underneath our path method, we're just going to do self.skill underscore web.draw. Okay. Save and run it. And you should get some kind of shape like this. You should have your little outside shape, and then you should have so I put 5 for my layers, so I should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shapes. Okay. And so of course your shape is going to depend on how many skills you have. So I'm gonna just make it where I only have 3 skills here. Okay. So what I should get is a triangle. So let's see. Yep, so I got a triangle, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 triangles. Okay. So you may notice that the triangle is rotated a little bit, and it just looks off. This is an issue with all odd numbered polygons, so you'll have the same issue with the pentagon. I'll show you real quick. Yeah, it's just rotated strangely. We're going to fix that in the next video. So in the next video, we're actually going to fix the little rotation issue with our odd number polygons. We're also going to draw a line from the center of the skill web to each of the outside vertexes, or excuse me, to each of the outside vertices. And then we're actually going to add our skill names to the outside of the skill web here. Okay? So stay tuned for that, and thank you for watching.